Welcome to another episode of It's My Business. I'm your host, Mark Larray, and in today's business, it's about branding, personal branding. You know, it is important to grow your business. You have to brand. It's important for people to get to know who you are. You generate them leads when people know, like, and trust you. So today I'm going to get into a conversation with my good friend here that I just met like a couple months ago.
Man. Yeah.
Jordan Da Guzman. Yes.
Yes,
You know what?
sir.
I'll let you take it away. You tell us who you are, what you're about, what your business is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks, Mark, for having me on here, man. This is a really cool opportunity to, help other entrepreneurs out there gain value and build their business and build their growth for this year, really. So, branding is what I do, is what I love to do. As a designer when I was younger, I knew my path was eventually to help entrepreneurs or businesses because it was a passion of mine at a young age. So right now I have a branding agency, and we help entrepreneurs start, scale, and grow their business. So that's what I do now.
Nice. And there's a difference between marketing and
Yeah.
branding, right? Like a lot of people get that mixed up, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's one of those things, right, Mark, where, nowadays you can find out, right? It's one of those things where you can chat GPT anything and you'll find out what the differences are. But truly how that helps your business or how that pertains to your business is a different thing. Branding, people will think that's the logos, the colors. Marketing is the way you project your brand. It's the voice from it.
Yeah. Let's say that again. So branding is
Like the identity part, right? It's the logo design. It's the position. It's the the look and feel, the mood of your brand. That's what branding is. Marketing is the vehicle in which you kind of bring that identity and spread it to the world.
right. So would marketing be the storytelling aspect
100% it would be.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely is.
Yeah, because that's really important. Before I get into anything else,
Yeah.
how'd you get into this? Like, what as a child, were you like, was there like a creative side of you that you realized turn this into a business?
Well, it's interesting. I come from a low income housing family, so we lived in low income for most of my life, and I had to work labor jobs at such an early age. I think from that moment I knew that the way out of it was to eventually become an entrepreneur, own my own business, get out of the situation that we're in. But it wasn't until I was in my early 20s is when I just kind of fell into it. It was not something that I was actually planning. I became an entrepreneur really early on. Started up my first business, which is J Fusion Flooring. I helped people install floors, and I also repaired floors. One of my first businesses. But then I knew at that point that I needed to get to the next level. And from that point on, I remember my skills at a young age, which is I love designing, I love creating, and my path eventually led me to starting a photography business, a video business, a marketing business, and then now a branding business.
Nice. And you put it all together now. Like you offer all of those services underneath your umbrella. Right?
Yeah.
That's how,
100%. Yeah. It's something that I do now. I'm able to kind of bring all the things that I've learned throughout the years and build an actual agency out of it to really help people.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's been like the greatest challenge that you had?
Oh man, I think like we all have is starting.
Yeah.
Right. It's, I think every entrepreneur feels the pressure of starting. And then once they get into it, then it starts to like build momentum. For me, it was very much so. It's always that beginning part of the business. And then I think the challenges start to come afterwards, but it becomes one of those things where you're just solving problems one after another. So I think the first part was just starting.
Yeah. That's definitely, a lot of people think entrepreneurs, I was on a call yesterday and a coaching call, and, the individual says, man, like when I was, cause they cook, right? And they're like, when I was cooking and just selling casually to my neighbors and friends and stuff like that, it was easy. I was making money. Now that I'm in business, it's like, it just seems so hard, right? Because there's the other aspect that people forget about. You're not just a cook, a chef, or an auto car detailer. You're now a business person. So there's the marketing, the accounting, all that stuff that goes into it, right? So
no, you absolutely said it right. Yeah, I think to add on to that, I've loosely, vaguely said the details on it. You're right. now that I remember it, a lot of the challenges were the other side of that business. I'm a creative at heart. So, being a designer, being a creative allows me to focus most of my energy on that aspect of the business while forgetting keep some money away for taxes, your finances, how to build a system within your business, how to serve your clients, and how does that communication work out as well. That part of the business, and of course the organization part, because it uses the other part of the brain,
Exactly.
So yeah, 100%. That part took me a lot of growth, I would say, and a lot of the hurdles that I had to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's always learning. You're always learning as you go, man. It never stops.
Never stops.
Yeah. So tell me, say someone that's starting a business right now, just started.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of years in. When should they start thinking about their brand, building or working on their brand?
I would like to say obviously right off the jump, but obviously it's not the reality for most entrepreneurs or small businesses. They kind of just get right into it. But I'll tell you the reason why I say that. Before you start any type of business, like now that I've done it and failed at some of them and done it again, having a good business plan to start allows you to guide your brand, which is how is your business going to show up in the world? What is the identity of that business? And that comes with the logo designing and the website look and the mood, the feel, the style. But more importantly, it has a lot to do with your message, brand position. All of these things requires you to research and allows you to start your business off right. It becomes the foundation of your business. And
when you say message, let's break that down.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Brand message is, it comes down to your mission statement. Who are you serving and why? It goes down to knowing that, but with your heart, knowing what that is, because when you build that foundation, once you have built your mission or understand your mission and understand your objectives, business follows with that. Marketing becomes easier, advertising becomes easier, content creation becomes easier. So if
you know exactly who you're talking to,
it's like referring back to it and makes you kind of like guides you, because you can go in so many different directions as an entrepreneur. So I would say as an entrepreneur, if you're starting off your business, branding should be one of your first things you would want to look at and start to do it with intention.
Yeah. And what does that look like? So I'm just starting now, right?
Cool. Yeah. So you're starting your business now, Mark?
Yeah.
Awesome, brother. And
I want to get into coaching.
You want to get awesome. Right. So this is a personal brand.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would look at the landscape first. So this is normally you do it like a business plan, and in that plan you would research who your competitors are, for example. What space that you're trying to get into. What industry are you in? All of these things allows you to start to put the pieces in to build your brand. And there's something in branding we call brand position, right? So how are you positioning yourself as a coach within the space that you're in? Are you like, who are your competitors in Durham? Who are your competitors, even overseas, for example? But that's one aspect of it. Research allows you then to guide how you're going to create your content. How do you create your identity?
Yeah.
Because now you can choose the colors, you can choose the type of logo, you can choose the font that goes with your logo, the website, how are you showing up in your website, in your personal brand? And then it gets into the story aspect, right? So you would need to take these steps first, because everything kind of guides each other. It's an important step to take. So if you're going to start your business today, Mark, I would say do your brand business plan first. Second, let's get into your brand identity, brand mission, your position, your logos, and then your websites and all of that.
Yeah.
All of that
and you mentioned font and color.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually really important.
It is and it isn't. I'll tell you why. Tell you why. As a creator, I used to think that, right? Because as a designer, you're like, you got to choose this font. You got to do this. At the end of the day, everything needs a purpose. Because the brand is only as strong as the purpose.
I like that.
And the reason why is if you choose a font, for example, let's just say you choose a thick font and it's like completely bold, you send a message to your audience, what that means. There is something going on with the way fonts are used, the way it separates each other too in terms of the spacing. All of these design elements sends a message without people knowing, right? So if you looked at if you look at other brands in the past and how they show up, if you just look at Nike, look at Apple, the simplicity of their logo is all intentional. There's the reason why designers decided to choose that font. So it does get to a position where it's very important.
Yeah.
But none of that's important without the purpose. Does that make sense?
That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
None of it is important. So what would that purpose? So that purpose goes back to your mission statement. Is what you're saying, that your vision, your mission, your why,
who you're serving,
exactly who 100%. You're serving. So someone that is in, say, the insurance industry or be a realtor or whatever, right? It depends on who they're serving, and that is what, their brand translates. It
100%. I'll give you a quick story. So recently, I rebranded a company called the Bold Group. They're called the Bold Group. Bold Group. Yeah, that's their name, and they're in Durham. Okay, and the name is strong. Bold Group is like
bold.
It's kind of like when you name your son King.
Yeah,
you got like that kid got to represent now. You know, like imagine growing up and you're named King, and it's like, damn. So like this company, they were called the Bold Group, and they did a brand before, and it was bold lettering, if you can imagine, because they were trying to correlate it with the name. They came to me for a rebrand recently, and upon research and doing a lot of brand positioning for them, I found out that you guys are in Durham. So who are your audience? And the audience it came up to be small families or emerging families that are trying to either downsize or sell their property, but they were not at all in the space of being downtown, for example. So the thought was, how do we attract your buyer with your identity? So we changed the entire thing. The font became less stocky and straight and bold to a more elegant, more softer font. So the decision helped us make that decision knowing who they're serving.
Yeah. The identity piece.
The identity piece. 100%. Because it gave us that insight. You guys live in Durham. These are your audiences. So we need to present yourself well to serve them. So what would be, like, for example, imagine if I chose a certain look and feel that pertained more to a different audience, a younger audience, Gen Zs, for example. It would focus more on their attention. Not to say that your business will fail. It's not about that. It's really about how are you trying to make it easier for you to get attention.
Yeah. That's key. That's really, that's right. I'm learning more and more how important that is, the look and feel. And so that's logo. And you talked about positioning yourself. So let's go back to like personal branding now, right? So I often say that to generate leads and attract customers, the customers that you want, you have to be attractive.
Yeah.
Right. And so not just, like how you look and stuff like that. Right?
It's part of it though.
But although that's part of it, exactly.
Yeah. So how that translates, Mark, is that, when you're branding a business is different than how a personal brand shows up, but also in many ways is correlated. And I'll tell you the differences. When you create a business brand, you do have to, you're coming up with a new identity, right? Because that identity is serving your clients. But in many ways, your personal brand is not creating a new identity. Your personal brand is literally showing your authentic self.
Right.
And asking yourself the questions, what do I like to wear? What are my values? What's my story? These things help guide you on what you want, how to present yourself in the world, but there's a reason why the fashion is very important and colors are very important. If you choose to wear a red shirt today, for example, or a red hat, for example, that brand has been taken. People will correlate that to something different. Right. Right. Like there's many things that what you wear is again, it goes back to what I mean by purpose follows brand is only as important as the purpose. With yourself as well. Your brand, your identity is only as important as your purpose. So if you're a coach, for example, and you're going to show up in the world, it is your duty to show up well for your audience, and how you dress, what you say, how you speak, how you present yourself matters.
Yeah, it
matters.
Yeah.
But only matters if it's the real authentic you. Like, for example, if you guys all know Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes in with a, undershirt.
I don't think I've ever seen that guy in a suit.
Not at all. No strap. Yeah. He's completely authentically himself. Yeah. But the power that he has is that he's backed up with his entire experience, his mission, all of that. But not to say that, and again, he's showing his authentic self. But not to say that's the best way. It's just his way.
That's his way.
You know? And if he didn't have the skills to back it up the way he does, people will not look at him the same way, unfortunately. Right? Carrying yourself well and presenting yourself well is really important. So I would going back to your question of identity and your personal brand, it requires a reflection.
Yeah. It's like, how do you want to show up, right?
Yeah.
How do you want to show up? What do you want to be known for? Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, says, his definition of brand, personal brand is what do people say about you when you're not in the room?
Yeah.
Right. When you're not there, like who's Jordan? Like, Jordan is this guy. Like, if I answer to who's Jordan and somebody else, talks about you, we should be pretty much saying the same thing.
That's right.
In terms of like your character, what you do for your business, or, how you help individuals, right? If there's a disconnect, well, yeah, that's not authentic, as you're saying.
Well, it just shows inconsistency, right? Yeah. So, in the game of business, in branding and marketing, trust is very important.
Yeah.
Right. And when you are inconsistent with how you speak about yourself or what you say when you meet people, and anything, actions mean more, but even the way you talk is very important. If you have a track record of changing it up all the time, it leads to being distrustful. And exactly. That is, it's very important as an aspect for being authentic. If you're just authentically you, it shouldn't be an afterthought. It shouldn't be something you have to try to do when you step in a room, right? Honesty is easy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy when you're honest. So the moment you start lying about who you are, that's when it becomes tricky for people to trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a differentiator.
Yeah. I read a stat. They said 81% of consumers, they check out a brand first. Like it requires trust. Actually, they need trust in order to do business with a company, an individual. 81% first. Yeah. It's not off of price. No. It's not off of even logos and stuff like that. No, it's the brand. What does the brand stand for? Who is this company? What do they do? And that even transcends into community, right? Like, that's all a part of brand. Yeah. Would you say, right? Like, what 100%. Do you do anything in your community? Do you give back? Do you help? Do you donate? Do you, that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Beyond just your business. It's all part and parcel.
I find, those things are all factors that go back to, do I trust this person? For example, if you guys all go on Amazon, I'm sure you guys all bought something on Amazon in a few weeks. Yeah. I mean, what's the first things you guys look at? It's reviews.
That's
right.
It. Yeah.
Sure, the brand's there. Sure. Right. You're buying an item though. And the one thing you want to do is see if this place or this item is credible, and that goes back to, what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the other factors of it, if it comes down to personal brand mark, it would be to, speak authentically, know yourself, reflect on yourself, know who you're serving. And then when it comes to, doing all that community stuff, those are all added ons to who you are, right? I would say this: if you're going to do community stuff, do it because you really want to do it.
Yeah. Not just because.
Yeah. Just because you're going to but there's power, like knowing that is great information for your business, right? Yeah. Knowing that you could do this and you're going to give back and you're going to serve. Amazing. Great. Yeah. just so you know, that is going to work because you are providing.
Yeah.
You know, you're providing, you're bringing people together. It's a great part of your business, but that goes back to, again, yes, you're right. It reflects back on who you are and what your brand is.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
You enjoy what you do,
bro.
You better.
Honestly, I love it so much.
Yeah.
You know, waking up every day to really help people kind of guide, or it's kind of like therapy, to be honest. Like most of my clients, it's like, Jordan, man, like I have this brand, whether it's a business brand or a company brand or even a startup, you know, the joy of creating from nothing, you know, is such a I don't know what it is. It's my purpose in many ways, right? So I feel energetic about it. I feel excited to wake up every morning to do it, and knowing that I can help people too, right? A lot of people that start personal brand, unfortunately, there is this stigma that you got to present yourself in a different way. You know, they look on Instagram, for example. That's their guide. I want to show up like them. It's natural. I mean, we all do that. You know, we get influenced by so many people, Mark, you know?
Yeah.
But the challenge becomes, you know, when we sit down together, it's how can we mold that into who you really are?
Yeah.
You know, figuring that part is exciting because then you find out it's okay if I'm this. It's okay if I show up not perfect, for example. It's okay if I don't speak perfectly as well. It's okay. You know, you will get there eventually. You will, if this is something that you want, you will get there. So even with your business, like I want to make 100K a month. I want to make 300K a month. Fantastic. Let's reel it back and let's build the foundation of your business. To me, that's exciting.
Yeah,
you know,
I love it.
Yeah,
I could see you lighting up, man, when you talk
bro, because the change that you see is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you do the same for your business because you're a coach and you're helping businesses every day from a standpoint of knowledge and understanding. You're able to help them either confirm or confirm their doubts, for example, but also at the same time, you're able to give them new knowledge to help them build their business. That's incredible, man. That you have a duty. And I think I mean, who wouldn't want to wake up?
It's a duty.
It's a duty. Who wouldn't want to wake up and do that?
Yeah, exactly. It's connected to purpose, man. When you're living purpose, man, it makes a difference. Yeah, it's not 100%. A job. Listen, I want to touch on this because you said this on our little off-camera chat. You said this, and I thought it was very powerful. The entrepreneurship mind and the creator mind are totally different. What does that mean? Just explain that quickly.
I mean, for many reasons. I think there's a study, right, that creatives use one side of their brain, and then there's another part of their brain, which is like the more of the organization aspect. It is there's a reason why people love math and organizing, and, you know, they have that part of their habits built into that side of their brain. You know, the creatives are the same way too, as well. What I meant by it was in business, you know, it's very hard to do both. Yeah. Right. It's very hard to do both. It takes either time or, you know, to really focus in and try to learn those habits and learn that skill set. But it's always a fight against each other. Right. So, for example, if you look at a chef of your friend that you were saying earlier, you know, part of his problem of his business probably was working on his business versus in it. Right. You know, in my business, for example, as a creator, as a designer, a lot of my focus was, again, on the creative side of my brain, and I would neglect all the other important parts of your business. And it's very hard, right? It's very hard to try to mend it. So I think that we all have that challenge also as people or as entrepreneurs. You can see how they would have the struggles of different parts of their business. But I don't think that the creative mind and the entrepreneur mind are so separate in that sense.
It is. Yeah, that was fire. Yeah, when you told me that, I thought, man, that sounds amazing. That's fire, man.
Well, a lot of it had to go down to like the creative world. Like in the creative world, I work with so many creatives, from photographers, videographers, designers to editors, and a lot of the challenges are their business. They're doing well in what they do. So, for example, I work with some videographers that are really talented guys. They know zero about business. They don't know how to speak to a client. They don't know how to hit deadlines, you know, very challenging for them. It's not their fault. A lot of their energy has been spent on working on the actual piece, the creative. You know, so in business, even I'll tell you this interestingly, if you guys see it all the time, there's a pain point there, a massive pain point. Even for entrepreneurs, or just regular entrepreneurs, there's a massive pain point when it comes to being a creative. So then the industry knows this. So they're going to feed you things like, for example, you could do it yourself. Here are these platforms. You could do it yourself. They're going to continue to try to find solutions so that creativity can be easier for you. When they built Canva for the first time, it helped so many creatives do Canva, right? Has anyone here
done Canva? I love Canva.
100%.
Yeah.
It actually helped entrepreneurs get into that game of creating content for themselves. Now AI can do it seamlessly through prompt. Because again, that pain point was always there. How do we do creatives as someone that doesn't know creatives? It's no matter how many times you try to teach somebody that, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So that is why, you know, they understood very much early on that it's very difficult to merge those two. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So where can people find you, man?
Scarborough.
Find me in Scarborough.
You can find me in Scarborough. SDC. No.
On Instagram, what do you want?
No, people can find me by my handle, by Jordan Da Guzman.
Okay.
You know, Mark Larry will hit it in the
let them know on the
hashtags.
camera, like talk wherever your camera is.
Which one is it?
Right.
This one.
There, yes.
What's up, guys?
Tell the people where we can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, by Jordan Da Guzman, or at OneCo. You can find me there as well. Mark will tag it in his comments, right, Mark?
Yes, I've been told.
Right. Sweet.
No, you'll do it. No, for sure. Yeah, that's a part of it for sure.
Yeah, you can find me if you ever need help in business in terms of branding and understanding that aspect. I'm here for you.
And you got any like events, workshops, seminars, anything coming up?
So I'm going to the Philippines this Friday. You know, a lot of the business that I've been doing, I outsource a lot of the back end stuff in the Philippines. A lot of good designers and creatives out there.
I heard that.
So I'm gonna meet them for the first time in person.
Yeah, nice.
And the business is gonna grow there, so that way we can serve the people in Canada. So we're excited for that aspect. So that's the most pressing matter to take care of this year.
Yeah, nice. And we're gonna do some stuff together at some point this year. We're gonna collab together.
100%, brother. Yeah. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for your future. I'm excited for all the people that you're helping, Mark. Thank you for having me on, man. I really do appreciate it. The value that you're bringing to Toronto in general is huge, and I would love to see more of it, man.
Appreciate it, man. All right, man. Nice. This was good.
Cool.